Dear colleagues, this is Phaco emulsification of a cataract with grade 3 nuclear sclerosis. This is an unedited video and I want to show you each and every step of the surgery. This is the main incision. It's a 2.8 millimeter incision. And now one side port is made on the left side of the main incision. In this case, I want to demonstrate capsular Rhexis, so I want to stain the anterior capsule with trypan blue dye. And this is an air bubble. I inject the dye underneath this air bubble so that the dye doesn't get diluted by aqueous humor. And the staining becomes very fast underneath this air bubble. Now, little bit of adrenaline is injected and the dye is washed out. And in this case, I'm going to do capsular Rhexis using the cystitome itself. 2% SPMC is injected into the anterior chamber. This is the hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose. And now one more paracentesis incision is made on the right side of the main incision. And now the cystitome is introduced through the right stab incision. And see how I do Rhexis with the cystitome itself. This flap is raised, this flap is flipped, and the flap is guided anti-clockwise in such a way that I am at equal distance from the border of this dilated pupil, and here I complete the Rhexis. This is a fairly round Rhexis. Now hydrodissection is done. Fluid wave is passed. We could see that the fluid wave went towards the opposite equator. The nucleus is depressed. Some more fluid is injected and the nucleus is rotated. Viscoelastic substance 2% SPMC is injected again, and now is the time to introduce the tip of the Phaco handpiece. The machine being used in this case is Oatly Cataract's Easy Phaco machine. Beautiful machine from Switzerland. And this is direct job. The tip is buried totally in the substance of the nucleus. I'm in Phaco 2 mode. The tip is buried in position 3 with ultrasonic energy. Come back to position 2 and the nucleus is held firmly and it is chopped. The free nuclear fragments are emulsified and removed. This cataract is very easy to chop, brittle nucleus, grade 3, and here is the last nuclear fragment. That's it. And now in this case there is a lot of cortical lens matter. Bit of visco is injected, and now in this case I am going to use a Simcoe cannula 23 gauge to remove these cortex. Some epinuclear mass is also there, and in this case we can see that there are a lot of cells sticking to the posterior capsule. I go through the left stab incision and remove this last portion of the cortex. That's it. The cortical matter is removed. Now, since there's a lot of cells in the sticking to the posterior capsule, I'm trying to polish it with the Simcoe itself, but the Simcoe is not a good instrument to polish the posterior capsule. And here I take the irrigating probe of bimanual irrigation aspiration device. The fluid jet is directed towards the posterior capsule. Here I am enlarging the main wound by 0.2 mm to make the wound 3 mm because the cartridge is a wide bore cartridge. And here I am doing polishing of the posterior capsule by the fluid jet itself, and it can be called hydro polish, polishing with the help of hydro. And now in this case I am injecting the lens, keeping the antechamber formed by continuous irrigation. Here it is. And the lens is implanted in the bag. The irrigating probe guides the trailing haptic into the bag, and the lens has gone into the bag. So we can do it very fast. In my hands, Phaco emulsification is faster than manual small incision cataract surgery because Phaco emulsification is my routine procedure. Now hydration of the stroma at the step incisions are done. The main incision doesn't require hydration. And here it is. This is the final lavage of anterior chamber and the capsular bag. And see, a lot of visco was sticking to the posterior capsule. I go behind the IOL and irrigate the bag because some viscoelastic substance was there in the lumen of the cartridge that should come out. And now here it is. The antechamber is formed and the case is concluded. Dear colleagues, my aim is to inspire you through my videos. Please watch these videos and develop your surgical skills. Please get a recording system in your operation theater.